let's have a little fun. You know, we talk about what we need to do and how do we change the culture and how free enterprise is the fuel for freedom, and without that we don't really have anything to fight back against the global tyrannists who want to control every action that we take. And that whole message of entrepreneurship and free enterprise is one that we continually promote here on the show. And when we have the opportunity to bring in other entrepreneurs other than myself, because I know I'm entertaining, but it's nice to hear somebody else's side too, isn't it? Well, when we have the opportunity to do that, we do that. And joining us today is Lynn Allen-Johnson. Now, she happens to be an entrepreneur. I don't know, honestly, I don't know much about her. So you and I are going to learn together. I first talked to her a couple days ago when I was traveling back from giving a speech in southern Wisconsin, and I thought, well, that's a pretty interesting story, so let's have her on. And Lynn, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Josh. I'm doing awesome and glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about where you came from before we get to where you are now, because where you are now is obviously why you're on the show, but it's always where you came from that lays that wonderful groundwork. Tell us a little bit about your past and how you got to this point.
Awesome. Would love to do that. You know, I spent most of my life in poverty. Lost my dad when I was 16, and so that was a tragic time in my life, and come from a family with 5 brothers and sisters. And once that happened, we all kind of scattered into our own worlds and tried to find our way. And I barely got out of high school, no college education. It wasn't even a thought in my head. And then, you know, ended up getting married, 2 kids, and became a single mom very quickly, and spent 18 years raising 2 daughters, and I went from job to job, trying whatever I could just to survive and feed my kids, was on food stamps for a good part of their upbringing, and my children spent their entire childhood in daycare while I fought trying to hang on, you know, trying to survive, trying to take care of them. And that was the existence that I had until I got my kids raised and out of the house, and my life did not begin to change until I was 50 years old, living in an apartment in Central Florida, and still completely dead broke after all of the time, still completely dead broke. Nothing in the bank, just fighting to survive and pay my rent each month.
Well, you know, that's where 98% of the population finds itself. Matter of fact, it's even a little bit worse now than it was probably when you were raising children, because the economy has tanked. We're at a place now where a third of the population's in poverty. 4 out of 10 people are one paycheck away from entering poverty. It's just a dire situation. So what changed for you? There you are in an apartment in Central Florida. Obviously something changed. What happened?
I was introduced to network marketing for the very first time, and it kind of came a backdoor way for me, Josh. I mean, I came through products, and I ended up getting involved in this industry to get my products at a reduced price, and then started to, you know, it took me a while, but I started to really grasp the concept of leverage and residual income, and for the first time in my life, I saw hope that maybe, just maybe, I could change the way I lived my future. And I got fired up about this.
Now, let me ask you a question, because I know some people are going to be thinking it. Did you have job experience in anything related to what you were about to do as a network marketer? Were you a professional salesperson in the past, or a PR specialist or anything like that?
Nothing. I actually, when I was 50 and introduced to this industry, I was working in a tile store. I was managing a granite, marble, and tile store, helping people do tile and marble and granite layouts for their houses. And, you know, I mean, I had sold tires. I worked in a tire store at one time. I worked in insurance claims. I waited table. I had no experience, nothing that would set me up for the abundant life that, you know, that I now live.
So there you are saying, okay, I'm gonna get my products at a discounted rate, and obviously that's a good reason to do it right there. But when did you decide to make that switch between a really good customer and, hey, wait a second, I think I can make some money doing this?
It took me probably 4.5 years playing around with this to figure it out, Josh, because I'm a caregiver and I want to save the world and I want to bless people, and so I shared products. That part was easy to me, and I started making a real small part-time income, but it was still more money than I had ever made. But it wasn't until 2002 that I actually took a serious look at this. I actually flew out, went to an event because I wanted to see what the people who were making the money in this industry look like, to see if I really could do it, at a larger scale.
Sure.
And my expectations, it was so different because I expected to see all of these people in three-piece suits and alligator shoes, up there saying rah-rah, all these business people. And I felt so inadequate that I didn't feel like I would be able to do it. And I went to this event and I looked around at the people who were just doing tremendously with this, and I realized for the very first time that they were people just like me. Ordinary people who had achieved extraordinary things in their lives because they chose this as their vehicle. And that's when I knew that I had the opportunity to create the future that I wanted. I knew immediately because I thought, these are just ordinary people. They were plumbers. They were, they were housewives. They were maintenance people. They were carpet installers. They were, just people who had achieved extraordinary lives. And so that happened in 2002, and that's when I made the decision that the best way to predict my future was to create it. And I took ownership of my life for the very first time in my life.
Good for you. Very good. Now, obviously, when you decided to make that decision, I'm going to assume that there are some people in your life who thought, oh, well, you're going to be doing one of those things, and everybody wasn't too positive. How did you address that issue?
Well, that was probably 99% of the people in my life, and once I made the decision, Josh, and I said, this is where I'm going to be, this is the vehicle that I'm going to use, I didn't care anymore what they thought. I spent the first 4.5 years worried that people would say, oh, my gosh, I can't believe you got sucked into one of those, and they were negative. But these are people, that were commuting down I-95 every day, to dead-end jobs that didn't fulfill them, making a third, of what I was earning, even part-time. So I decided that I no longer cared what anybody else thought about my dream. And, it released me to just do it, to just know that I needed to connect with people of like mind. And I became a passionate entrepreneur and a proud networker. And I went on a mission to find people who wanted more in their life, and I got so past all of the negative that everybody else was giving me because I knew the power of this industry and what it would produce.
And, that's a kind of a common trait that anybody who's achieved anything has had to overcome. Everybody's going to get that negative. Everybody's going to have those people in their life who say, oh, you can't do it or you shouldn't do it. And whether it's network marketing or starting your own software company or whatever it happens to be, and the one thing they all have in common is they just made a decision that regardless of what other people said, why listen to people who have never done what you want to do? It makes no sense. We'll be back with Lynn right after this. So we're talking to Lynn Allen-Johnson. She is an entrepreneur. She started a business at 50 years old. So all of you people out there who think, oh, I got to do it at 18. If I don't do it at 18 or 19, it's too late for me. That is so not true. Especially with the technology, the systems, the mentors, the business models out there in today's world. It is easier now than ever to become an entrepreneur, whether you're 18 or 81. It really doesn't matter. So, Lynn, let's get back to your story. And we kind of had the background story. You were a mom working hard, 50 years old. You started buying products from a network marketing business. After a while, you decided, well, I'm going to do this myself, make some money. You went to an event, decided, okay, here's the decision. You made it, and away you go. How has life changed from then to now?
Oh, my gosh. This would be a 2-hour show just trying to share all of that. It's so incredible. I think freedom, Josh. For the first time in my life, I have freedom where I wake up in the morning and the choices that I make are not dictated by time or money or lack of. And, being able to give, being able to travel the world. I had never even been to California before I started this. And last year, I was in Hong Kong. I've been in the Philippines. I've been in Australia. I have traveled the world. And my passion is to give back what I've learned in this industry and to help people get out of their own way. Financially, I can't even tell you. I mean, I've just been blessed with a huge six-figure income and, lived a life that I never dreamt possible, ever, never even considered for myself.
And it wasn't just you. It's not a unique story where you're the one person who made it. I mean, obviously, over the years, you've had to seen, helped, experienced other people do the same thing, correct?
Exactly. That's the joy of this industry, is to find somebody who truly wants a better life, somebody who's willing to put their dreams above their fears, get out of their comfort zone and do something out of their box, because, my comfort zone kept me where I was. And so I look for those people who say, okay, pick me, and then I want to mentor and coach and teach them what I did and help take them to the top, because that's the biggest gift. When you give, you receive. And blessing others is what fills me.
I think you just hit on something that's very key. I've been around the network marketing industry for a very long time. And a lot of people get involved and they think, I have to get 700 people and, all my friends are going to say no. And it's not really about that. It's about what you just said, about finding people who say yes, who want to do it. And if you think about it, if there's an industry with, I think globally there's over 50 million people involved in some form of network marketing. Well, then obviously if there's 50 million people in it already, I'm sure that you can find 6, 10 more. So it's not one of these things where you have to force people into do things or talking people into do things. And we're at a place now in history where we're getting away from that model. And network marketing is actually getting a very solid, pure, true reputation out there in the business community. Isn't that true?
Absolutely. And you're so true in what you're saying, Josh, because I got to the top in this industry, and I'm actually featured in John Milton Fogg's latest book, The Greatest Networkers in the World, where he chose 21 ordinary people who became millionaires in the industry. And I'm just so honored to have been selected. But I got there by helping others, and I've never been one of those people in this industry, the old style like you're talking about, that has a 3-foot rule. You just throw everybody in and see who sticks and all that. I look for 4 people. That's how I started. I looked and selected a team of 4 people who wanted it, who had a dream, and were ready to draw a line in the sand, commit to their future, and I partnered with them and took them to the top. That's how I got here.
You know what else kind of amazes me is how people realize things change really fast. I mean, look at how fast technology changes. 20 years ago, we didn't have the internet, the personal computers, the iPods, all the technology we had. 10 years ago, Starbucks was the leader in coffee, and now McDonald's. Who would have thought McDonald's would have been beating them in global coffee sales? So things change, and I find it disheartening when people who consider themselves free-thinking people don't understand that businesses can change too. And if network marketing did something the way it did it in the 70s, well, newsflash, it's different in 2012.
100%. This is absolutely, especially in this economy, Josh, to me this is a lifeline for people, because traditional businesses, or what we thought of was safe, are no longer safe. I know so many people, so many baby boomers who are trying to figure out what they want to do with the rest of their lives, because what they thought was going to get them through is not there. And the younger generation coming through, they don't want to do what their parents did. So to me, a lifeline, it's a way to create freedom, because traditional business where you're trading your time for money doesn't get it done. And, I have amazing passion for this industry, because anybody at all can change their life. can go after that brass ring should they decide to do it. This is complete and utter freedom for people, and this economy needs it badly.
Well, paint a little bit of an income picture for people, because people are thinking about their incomes now more than ever, or lack thereof, actually. What can people expect to make in an industry like this? What did you see coming? Because if I say something, people might say, "Oh, Josh, you're just saying that because you're in the media." But paint us a real-life, boots-on-the-ground picture.
It's going to depend on the vision of the person, what they're looking to do. It depends on their work ethic. I mean, there are people that tell me if they could make an extra $100 a week right now, that would change their life. That would make sure they had a vehicle, that would make sure their kids are fed. Some people, that's where they start, that's where they're looking to be. Other people say to me, I need $250 grand a year, and I need it in the next 18 months. And is that feasible? Yes. Takes a whole lot of work, lots of effort, lots of strategy, lots of planning. I think, anywhere in between those is feasible. If you're with, the right leadership, if you're with the right company, if you've got products that are consumable products outside of your network, because that is key, and if you have a pay plan that sets you apart and enables you to earn for your efforts. And so this can be whatever you want it to be. I don't like to set unreal expectations, because in the beginning, if somebody said to me, "Lynn, you will be able to earn, a huge six-figure income, probably more than any cardiologist in this country," I wouldn't have bought into that, because I was looking to have an extra $100 a week in my checkbook, and that was my reality. So there's a huge spectrum, but I can tell you that I have made millions in this industry, and I have created millionaires by working with them and partnering with them. I've watched ordinary people do that. Absolutely blessed lives, and it's the most empowering thing to know that you did it, and it's who I became as a result of this journey that's worth as much as the money, Josh, because it took me so outside of who I was my entire life, and I'm proud of me. I'm really, really proud of who I am as a person, because this industry changed me. It gave me a voice for the very first time.
Well, and you kind of touched on something that's even larger, and that's control. You said some people will do it for $100, some people need to make $250,000. And the national average, a lot of families could bring one or two of the income earners in that family home for as little as $600 a month. For $600 a month, one of the two people having a job can come home. And whether it's the man or the woman, I really don't want to get into that part, but wouldn't that be a great opportunity for a lot of families who are saying, you know what, we don't have culture in our family anymore, we don't have time with our family. $600 extra bucks a month, and one of the parents can come home would change the fabric of this nation.
Oh my gosh. 100%. I'm in agreement with that.
Well, hold on one second, because I love to end on a good note. We'll be back with Lynn right after this. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're talking to Lynn Allen-Johnson. And Lynn, I would be a rude host if I didn't ask you, because I haven't asked you, what business are you in? What are you doing now? How can people find out more about it? Are there any events or websites or anything? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing, because I was rude and I haven't asked you yet, so I apologize.
Wow. Well, the company I'm working with right now is called ARIIX. That's ARIIX, and we are actually in pre-launch, and it's probably one of the most exciting times in my life in the networking industry. And we are launching officially April 27th and 28th out in Anaheim, California. But right now, the thing that I am most excited about is that I'm going to be coming to Madison, Wisconsin on April the 19th and hosting an event there. I have some amazing friends in that area, and our company is probably the best kept secret out there, so timing is everything, and I'm looking to come into that area and open up the U.S. market, because nobody even knows we're coming, and it's just the most exciting possible time in the history of networking as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that kind of is exciting. You know, that whole ground floor sort of thing is really where it's at. Tell people a little bit about the process. Let's say somebody's never been involved in this industry, or worse yet, they were involved in the 90s when things were old school. How have things changed from then to now?
Well, you know, this is mainstream now. I think more people are going in this direction, as you said, Josh. And, you know, it's a powerful way to move products that you have passion for and be rewarded for your efforts. And so I would like to invite, for those of you who don't know anything about this industry or how it works, I'm going to invite you to my website. And it is just Lynn, Lynn, Johnson, just as it sounds, JOHNSON.com. And there's a video on there called Brilliant Compensation. It wasn't until I watched that I really understood how this industry worked for the very first time. It's mind-blowing. And I think for somebody who doesn't know, that would be a good starting point. And for somebody who's been in so many companies, and I know a lot of those people that have contacted me and they said, you know, I have tried this company, this company, this company, this company. In fact, I have nobody left to talk to. I'm a member of the NFL club. That's no friends or family left. So I love working with those people as well because they have an inherent belief in the industry, but maybe the products weren't right, the timing, the pay plan, the leader. You know, and that's something that I bring to the industry as well because I am a huge advocate of wonderful success and known for my leadership in the industry. So if you go to my website, you'll get all kinds of information, overall information of what network marketing is and who I am as a leader.
And, you know, a lot of people are going to say, well, Josh, are you part of the business or why are you promoting this? And honestly, Lynn, we have not spoken before this week, have we?
That is correct.
So, yeah. And I am on your website right now taking a look around. And you know what, folks? Right now is actually a perfect time to start a business. It really is. Tremendous wealth is made during economic downturns. Isn't that true?
100%. That is true. And I would tell you what, the opportunity to get involved before other people know the company is coming is something that people, you know, 4 years from now will say, oh my gosh, I wish I'd have gotten in early. We've all heard that. It's all about timing. And that's why I'm so excited about coming out to Madison and launching our event there. And before we go today, Josh, I want to make sure I give a contact number in Madison as well for somebody to call because I actually have published a couple of books, and the last one I did is called The Power of Vision. And I know that's where it starts because, you know, you've got to see your path or know why you're doing this. And anybody who calls Maria, who is my partner in Madison, is going to get my ebook as a gift from me. And I'm excited to share that because it's about you and digging deep for everything you want in your life. And this is a vehicle. The rest of it's got to come from you, though, and your desire for a better future.
Well, if it's an ebook and we have listeners everywhere, is it possible that listeners in other places can get a copy as well?
Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
Wonderful. Okay, so go ahead and give out that number.
Okay, the number for Maria is 608-445-1494. And the event we're going to have is in Madison, so if you contact Maria, she can, you know, give you the information on the event and get your email and go ahead and send you the ebook. And wherever you're coming from, if you can call her, I will make sure and give out my ebook, The Power of Vision. It's my pleasure to do that for every single listener here.
Absolutely wonderful. And, of course, as companies like this grow, it's just not geographically located. So there's opportunities for growth and excitement everywhere.
That's correct. I mean, we're open in Japan. We're open in Hong Kong. We have a license in China. Many other Asian markets will be following. The U.S. and Canada, of course, Mexico, and Thailand as well. I'm pretty well focused on the U.S. market right now, the U.S. and Canada, because it is virtually untapped. There is nobody that even knows we're coming. So now that I know how many listeners are here, this is probably where the first word's going to get out. So that ARIIX is coming, and we're positioning. We're offering priority positioning right now on our team. And so I want to encourage everybody to take a serious look. And for those of you in the Madison area, not only am I going to be there, but the president of our company is flying out there on the 19th. And we're going to be hosting a live event. It's free and very, very exciting for me to, have that, our official launch for that area. And globally, people will know who we are very, very quickly. Like I said, our Asian market is absolutely huge as well.
And some people are already asking us through Facebook, Twitter, and email to link to your website. So right after this segment, we have a long break. We will make sure we get those links up there as well. So hold on to those, listeners. Now, you bring up an interesting topic, and that's the fact that this market, North America, is untapped. There are many people who think, oh, well, network marketing has been here forever. It's so saturated. And in reality, what people don't realize is most people in America today do not have experience with this industry. I know it goes against popular belief because we've all heard of it, but most of us have not had experience with it, and one of the greatest markets to get involved in is North America.
Exactly. And, we didn't really cover this a whole lot, Josh, but I spent 14 years with one company and built to the top of that company. And last May, the president of that company, the vice president, the CFO, and some other management all left to start their own company. And that is the company that I am now with. I'm actually the number 4 distributor in the company. I followed them because business is about relationships for me, and I know where they will take this company. I know their vision, their heart. We have a Bill of Rights to protect the associates. So we are only 8 months old. Nobody knows we're here. Like I said, there's a lot of people who understand the power of networking, and they're looking for that opportunity, that once in a lifetime. And, I just feel like this would come around every 100 years. You don't get this shot. And there's a lot of people out there searching, so the time is now, for sure.
Well, the time is now, and even if we bring into it other circumstances like the presidential election, and it doesn't really matter who you're voting for, but as we're looking at things like this, people know that there's uncertainty in the future. We know there's uncertainty coming. We know it from a global economic standpoint. The World Monetary Fund is asking for more money. The Eurozone is crumbling from its financial debacles, and you need to do something to take control of yourself. Lynn, I say this a lot, but I view America as an airplane. When it's going down, you have to put on your oxygen mask first. And I think families are waking up to that. We can't count on the government to provide great jobs. We have to count on ourselves to provide great income. And there's a huge distinction there. And that's the power of self-employment. So, Lynn Allen-Johnson, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a blast. We'll have to have you on again. And again, it's LynnAllenJohnson.com, all one word, and we will link to it on Facebook and Twitter, of course. So